Unemployment has hit a 9-year high of 5.3%, 160,000 Kiwis out of work. This is the latest numbers from Stats NZ. Pretty grim picture, really, of the economy. Finance Minister and Growth Minister Nicola Willis said in August things would get worse before they got better. She joins me live this morning. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good to have you on the program, as always. Just wondering, where do you apportion blame? You know, when somebody doesn't have a job right now, is that their fault? Or as Growth Minister, is that your fault?
Well, the simple fact is, in an economy with higher unemployment, it is harder to find a job. And so I really feel for all those who want to work, are out there looking for a job, and they're finding it hard to seek work. And that's why our work to stabilise the foundations of the economy and then drive for greater growth is so important, because you don't do that for a GDP figure. You do that so that employers and businesses feel more confident about saying, actually, let's start something new up. Let's expand our operation. Let's take on new workers. And we've been working hard to create those conditions.
I know you have, but the problem for you now is a political one, isn't it? Because people have heard this before. Like, this record is so old now. A year ago, we were being told that the green shoots were coming, and now we're being told it again. Like, does anyone actually believe it?
Well, I think they should, because throughout economic history, what we see is this order of events. 1, inflation down, 2, interest rates down, then growth fixes, then unemployment comes down. That's the order of it. And actually, the unemployment rate we're experiencing now is lower than Labor were forecasting prior to the election would be the case at this point.
That's true.
There are actually fewer unemployed people than they had been picking their worst. So we always knew post-COVID, there's no getting away from it. We were going to go through a difficult economic recovery as a country, given how badly overstimulated and overinflated things were. So we are going through that difficult recovery, and our government is doing everything we can to be pro-growth, whether it's those investment boosts, tax breaks.
We know what you're doing. Yep. Minister, can I ask you about the Q2 dip that we saw? Do you put that down to Trump still, or partially Trump still? Or have you had any advice on this Marsden Point issue? Have you been made aware of that? There's some kind of accounting thing to do with the closure of Marsden Point several years ago that could have overinflated that figure?
Well, I still stand by my view that things were tough in Q2, and you saw that in the stats. And yes, I do think the Trump sentiment fact drove that. I have had briefings that point out that there's some real statistical noise in the Q2 data, in both the Treasury and the Reserve Bank, who are independent, so they're not just saying it to make me happy, predicting that 0.9 figure will be revised, that it wasn't actually quite as bad as that headline figure would suggest.
To what?
So we'll see that correction at the next update.
Revised to what? Have you been advised?
Well, look, there are a range of estimates, and obviously no one ever gets this stuff perfect. But you know, a figure of negative 0.5 is nowhere near as bad as negative 0.9, because what that would mean is actually the economy for the year is still growing. Because remember, in the first 3 months of the year, we grew by 0.9, and that had followed 3 months of strong growth. So it did seem odd to be growing away and then, wow, have that really big dip. I think there was a dip. It's just a question of how big it was.
Interesting. That would obviously help your political situation, because you are the Growth Minister, and it is the year of growth. And without that revision, it wouldn't be looking terribly flash for you, would it? How do you feel, in a word, how do you feel about your progress in your year of growth as the Growth Minister?
Well, I think New Zealanders have shown extraordinary resilience. They've worked very hard for this recovery, and I feel very clear-eyed. Now is not the time for expensive new taxes, for a return to reckless fiscal management. Thank goodness we're here, because now is the time we need to be backing employers and businesses, fast-tracking those private sector projects, getting them through the consent process so they can get started, whether that's housing developments, the Auckland Port expansion, or others. We really need to be ensuring we're opening those new export markets. We need to be getting the red tape out of the way, whether that's in the ag sector or elsewhere. Totally. So we're the government doing that stuff.
All right.
So it is a comparison game, politics.
What about
It's not just are things tricky. It's Are these guys doing a better job than the other guys would? And I'm confident we are.
Minister, I want to talk about that. Your investment boost policy that you announced some time ago, have you seen any material uptick from that yet? Had any advice that it's been successful so far?
Well, of course, we won't know until the tax returns come in how many people have used that policy. Certainly, anecdotally, I have heard reports from many businesses have said to me, look, actually, we redid the business case on a project and it stacks up much better now because of investment boost, so we've started it earlier. There's been a lot of reporting about upticks in tractor sales and vehicle sales, which would reflect farming businesses getting in there for the investment boost tax credit. So I think it's a policy that is for the long run. And the simple message it sends to business is if you go out and invest in making your business bigger and better.
I know, but I just wondered whether so you're saying we won't know until tax returns are filed. So we'll have to wait and see. Minister, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for being with me.
Great to be on the show.
Nicola Willis, Minister of Finance. It is 11 minutes away from 8. We'll take a quick break.